Hi, welcome along to the Redzone Super Bowl preview. I'm Bruce Millington and I'm delighted to be joined by the co-founders of Redzone, Steve Ballmore and Warren Lambias. Before we talk about the game and hopefully bring you some of the best bets on what is always one of the most enjoyable and busy punting nights of the entire sporting year, a quick chat with the boys about Redzone because they've become a real growing force, particularly for US sports. A lot of UK punters latching onto them. And Warren, what do you see as the key drivers for the success that you've made so far?
Well, we started out very much as an NFL brand, and then we've spread into the US sports, and it's based a lot on Steve. Really, we looked at the prices that were going out across the industry in the UK, and sometimes we felt they were very defensive prices and following the moves that were coming out of Vegas more than anything. And Steve has an excellent reputation, was head of US sports at another bookmakers for 23 years. When we set up, it was very much a case of being price led. And so we've got our 10 cent lines where most people are 20 cent lines. So, you know, instead of backing at 10 to 11, we're 20, 21, for example, on most occasions. And what's happened, we think, is that there's a loyal following of American football fans that have joined us, and then as we say check the prices, that's our sort of motto, and we've been price driven across a few of the sports now, and we're getting more and more people in who are, you know, we're trying to have a little bit more of a approach like that for rugby union, for example. For the Six Nations, we were the first to go +9 this week. So it's a case of being price led, get people through the door on American sport, but then let them realise that we're a full spectrum sports book. We're going to be down at Cheltenham, we're going to be doing stuff for the Premier League, for the Champions League, and we've got a nice, loyal customer base now, and we're excited to see it grow. Fantastic.
And Steve, is the Super Bowl the be-all and, not the be-all and end-all, but is it the big one for you guys at Redzone?
Absolutely. Well, it's the pinnacle of the American sporting calendar, and certainly for us specialising in American sports, and as Warren said, NFL being our main sport, it's the signature event for us. It's where we'll see the most bets on any given game during the year, and we expect a busy night.
And starting off, I guess, because the action starts even before the off, doesn't it? The coin toss, and I believe you are finally doing what I've wanted bookmakers to do forever. A coin toss is evens, and how are Redzone betting on the coin toss?
Evens.
Good for you guys.
Absolutely.
We said that just before we came on air was that back in 2016 when we started, we did it at evens and we took £1,000 bet on the coin toss, and it's, you know, how can we put a margin on that? We know they've got no more information than we have, so it's yeah.
We'll see bets on it for
Incredible.
Sure.
Good stuff. And the anthem as well. We've got
Absolutely.
My personal favourite singer of all time, Gladys Knight, belting it out. Will she elongate it or will she be nice and snappy?
I think we've got 1 minute 50 seconds as the line. We're favouring the under there slightly, so I think it's going to be between 145 and 150 personally. But
we'll get on to the more serious stuff in a sec. But presumably you must, or you and other bookmakers must have people trying to sneak in for the rehearsal and just see how long it's going to take, don't you?
Yes, there's all sorts of things. Obviously, watching her previous national anthems on YouTube and stuff, timing those. But the rehearsals are, if you can get some access to that, that's where you get the real info.
And how many markets in all, Steve, on the Super Bowl?
Hundreds.
Literally hundreds.
Yes, we haven't even finished putting them all up yet, but we have pages and pages, but they're all sort of separated into different categories. Should be easy to find.
Good. That's always the key, because someone says, oh, this such and such a bookmaker are betting on this particular prop, and you're like, it takes you 10 minutes to find it, but you guys have got it all nicely laid out, yeah?
Absolutely.
Fantastic. Warren, will you be all hands to the pump on Sunday night, helping out, answering the phones, making sure everything's okay, or will you be taking it nice and easy?
Well, I don't know about taking it nice and easy. Steve does all the clever stuff. I always say that, you know, he sets the lines, takes the bets, manages the risk. I think I'm going to be hosting a few of our clients and a few people, I think, from the press. We've got a little sort of shindig for people to come to, but I'll be watching the game and enjoying it, and then getting texts from Steve he'll let me know whether things are going well for us or bad for us. But you know, it's a long season, and you know, it's not defined on the one game or what happens. We could quite easily lose on Sunday, but we've had another great season thanks to this guy. So I can't moan at my lot in life, to be quite honest with you.
Jolly good. I will check with the postman where my invite has gone. Steve, before we find out what you fancy, what is the best result for Redzone? Who have the punters come for?
At the moment, New England is the better result. I think we'll see a lot of the bigger bets at the weekend. We've taken some decent-sized bets on the Rams already, and we have New England as a slightly better result long-term for the Super Bowl. But
now, any Super Bowl preview involving the Patriots, I always think should be quite short. They will win because they're coached by Belichick and they've got Brady as quarterback. And whatever logic dictates that they won't win, they just get the job done. That's obviously a simplistic view, but it also seems a fairly reliable one. What's the more expert view in terms of the key areas, Steve, where the Super Bowl will be won and lost?
Well, I think this is a great game because the NFL over the last few years has evolved more into a coaching league, and I think games are decided by coaching more and more. And I don't think it's any surprise that you had the 4 best coaching staffs in the league in the championship games, and now you have Belichick against McVay.
We certainly didn't have the best ref teams, did we, those games?
That's for sure. Don't remind me of that, please.
No.
We both might start crying at that one, to be quite honest
I've
with
just
you.
got over it now.
Yeah.
I've got over it. So we'll look forward. So it's all about the coaches. Who do you think's got the edge as far as the coaches go?
It's a very tough one because McVay and obviously Wade Phillips on the defensive side are very, very good. As close to a match to the Patriots staff as you'll get out there. And it's going to be all about in-game adjustments. And I think Belichick, it's hard to say he doesn't have the edge in the coaching. He's been there, he's done it, and has a lot more experience. But I think McVay will be good at making the adjustments, and it's going to be a close game either way.
Okay, before we get your best bets, just take us through the 3 main markets: the match to win the match, the handicap, and the points. Where are you right now?
We're 5-7 New England to win the game, 6-5 the Rams. We've got a handicap of New England by 2.5, and the points are at 56.5 at the moment.
And have they done anything in recent games since the game was announced? Is that fairly stable, or have they moved one way or the other?
Well, actually, the money's moved towards the Patriots. So we opened the game at Pick'em, and it's actually moved to New England by 2.5.
I should sing your praises there because it's a perfect example. I think Vegas opened up with the Rams as 1-point favourites, was it?
1.5 point favourites.
1.5 point favourites, and Steve on the night was like, I'm not going that way. We opened at Pick'em, and that's part of our USP, is the fact that Steve will make a stand against the market. You know, he's not going to put us out ridiculous by 3 points, but if he thinks it's out, we will go there, stick our flag in the ground, and that's what attracts business for us. You know,
you can't just sit in line with everyone these days, can you? Particularly as a new entrant to the market, because you're not going to make any noise that way, are you?
Absolutely, yeah. So.
Okay, so Steve, talk us through how you think the game will transpire. I mean, 56.5 suggests it's going to be a nice, exciting game, a very close game. Do you think that points line? I mean, I'd be leaning towards under from what little knowledge I have. Would you talk me off that, or do you think it will be a blowout?
Well, actually, contrary to the points prediction I've given in the competition, we might talk about later, I actually agree with you. I think, having sort of analysed the matchups, having analysed the sort of tendencies, I think both teams are going to look to establish the run more than anything, and that could lead to a lower scoring game.
Okay, well, so tell us about, Warren, the £1 million free competition. It sounds very exciting. You've got nothing to lose, have you? What do you have to do?
You've got to answer 5 questions. Winning team, total points, first touchdown scorer, and then the 2 difficult questions are passing yards for the 2 quarterbacks. I'm desperate. A good result for Redzone would be for someone to win this.
Sure.
I've insured it, so I'm desperate to have a big £1 million check and give it away to someone. So it's.
Well, let's see if we can help people along the way. Then I'm going to ask both of you in turn what you fancy. We'll start off with the team to win. Warren.
I've gone for the Patriots.
And
Patriots
Steve?
For me too.
Okay, fine. Next up, we've got the first touchdown scorer. Warren, who have you gone for there?
I've gone for Julian Edelman. Steve, he's not one of Steve's favourite players, but he always seems to come up and manage to hold on to a ball that you think he should have dropped. So I think he's always Tom Brady's out, really. So I'm happy for him. And
Steve, who have you opted for?
Sony Michel. If they're going to concentrate on the running game, it could well be him.
Absolutely. Okay, right then. So we've got passing yards. These are the difficult ones. Yes, quarterback passing yards. Away you go, Warren. What
this
have
is
you
the
got?
one where I've been keep unlocking my phone all through this interview, waiting for this question. I've gone for 408 yards for Brady. He threw 505 yards in 2018 and 466 yards in 2017. I think that the Patriots are going to get a lead, and then I think he will be able to take his foot off the gas a little bit. So I don't think he'll be pushing the 505 or the 466. But I still think they will rely. Everybody keeps talking about Brady's not throwing it as much, and they can't rely on him. He looked pretty good in Kansas when they needed him. So I think he will still be relied on for his arm.
I'm not going to try and guess the exact number you're going for, but I suspect it might be slightly lower than that.
Yes, 339 I've gone for Brady.
Okay, excellent. And the Rams quarterback, what do we expect there?
For Jared Goff, I've got 312 yards. We just looked at his average over the last few games, and I think they will be chasing, and although they will want to lean on Gurley, I think at some point they're going to have to rely on him, which is why I think the Patriots will win the game. But then he's the expert, I'm not. I'll get you your gin and tonic. He'll tell you who's going to win.
Steve, before you give me Goff's number, what do you think his influence on the game will be? Do you think he'll step up?
I don't. I think this Patriots secondary is playing as well as any secondary has all year. Gilmore is an elite cornerback. J.C. Jackson's improved very much, and I think he'll struggle against that press man coverage. I've gone for 287, which is actually probably higher than it should be, having said that, but yeah, I think he'll struggle. I don't think he'll be the difference maker. Okay,
and if you finally get through those four, you just got the easy task of total points in the game. Warren, what's your prediction for this?
Well, we didn't actually talk about this, but we made our predictions last week before Steve started doing some real work on it, which is why he's come down with some of his projections. But I've gone for 63 points, and I know you went for 64 points last week, but you've changed your mind since then, haven't you?
Yeah, I definitely think it's below that, and probably below the 56.
Great stuff. Well, it's free to enter. It's a bit of fun. You're going to need a bit of luck with those quarterback passing yards, but the other ones, you've got half a chance on, so why not give it a go? Steve, any other bets that you think punters should be looking at for the Super Bowl?
Well, I think if you like the Rams, I think they're going to have to lean on Todd Gurley. I think Todd Gurley for MVP, if you want to back the Rams, would be a good bet. Otherwise, as I said about Jared Goff and struggling against that secondary, I think going under his yards is a good bet.
Can I ask, what do you think? We've not spoken about this enough, but what do you think has been going on with Gurley and the fact that they didn't use him so much in the championship game?
Yeah, it's very surprising. I mean, they claim there's no injury there, but
it was peculiar, that, wasn't it? Because he was looking perfectly happy as Larry, but it was on the sideline when the offence were on the pitch.
If they hadn't won that game, I wonder what sort of questions would have been asked about the tactics. But I'd be very surprised if he's not a big factor in this game.
Okay, and give me one completely mad bet that I can just sit there and think, wow, that was a piece of genius. Something at a big price, something obscure.
Something obscure. James Devlin to score a touchdown.
Okay, love that. What's he, the holder?
He's the fullback, but he has scored, I think, 5 touchdowns this season. But he's still not considered a touchdown scorer, so I think he's something like 66 to 1 to score the first touchdown.
And what time would you expect to know whether it's been a great night for Redzone or not? It'll be the wee small hours of Monday morning, Warren, won't it? You'll be busy making sure that your guests have had a great time.
I'm sure I'll be signing a big bar bill somewhere, so hoping that Steve's made us enough money. But yeah, it'll be as they start settling. Sometimes those first touchdown scorer bets and accumulators that people have done, they're the ones that you sort of sneak up and smash them in the face when you're least expecting it. You think you've had a good night, and then you find out some punters had a great win and won a 6-figure sum. But good luck to them. You know, it's in a game like this, it's people have got to win to stay happy. But have we put a price up for Tom Brady retiring or not? Is that something you're steering away from?
Says he's not going to, doesn't he?
He says that, but he also said that he would retire if he had 2 more Super Bowls, which he's now done. So we put a price up of 6 to 1 that he retires post the Super Bowl.
And Steve, if based on what you know now of your position and how you're going to trade the game, what are the 3 things in the game that you think could be really expensive for Redzone? What are the 3 things you least want to happen during that match?
A shootout. We don't want a shootout. We don't want it to turn into
people
last
always
year's
want
Super
action,
Bowl.
don't
Yeah. So there's a lot of interest in the overs in a lot of the markets. So if all the receivers go over their yards and the quarterbacks go over their yards, that's going to be bad. We don't want the Rams to win. So a nice low-scoring New England win would be
That's
ideal.
what always happens, isn't it?
I hope
Sure,
so.
you should.
And he doesn't want me to go crazy with the company card, I'm sure. So, yeah.
Well, don't worry, I've done dry January, so I'll be raring to go on
That's it.
Sunday, Warren. Don't worry, get me on the list and everything will be absolutely fine. Thank you very much, chaps. Thanks for coming in. Good luck on Sunday. Hope it's a fantastic game and a great result. Thanks
Thank
very
you
much
very
for
much.
joining us.